Welcome back to Let's Design Factorio, where we continue this massive, ridiculous build that is meant to completely overhaul Vulcanus. What I've really got to do is get plastic and I think, what is it, carbon? Carbon, yes. I'm inserting carbon here, so we're going to have to figure out how much carbon to make. We're going to have to make 19.5 per second. Okay. Oh dear, we make 1 per second. It's going to take a lot of these then. Alright, I think this little build works, so I'm going to save this as a blueprint. Alright, so that was some much needed straightening up. I think I've gotten everything in this box, well, everything in probably this box right here is quite good. In fact, might be a good time to make a blueprint of that. Oh my goodness, this has got over 2,000 green belts. This is going to be a big build. It's going to take a lot of work. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can reduce the number of bulk inserters. Maybe I can use fast inserters instead. So instead of 143, I've now got it down to 95. That helps a little bit. But I might have to downgrade the belts at least to start, just to get the build working. We'll do that in-game. That was actually quite quick and easy. So what we've got here is 57.6 plastic per second, which is just an obscene amount of plastic. It's almost 3,500 per minute. And that pretty much fills the green belt. So we'll just have to see if I can supply this much petroleum gas and this much coal. But I'm saving this blueprint. So at this point, we have to just check our inputs to see if it's only things that are raw materials on Vulcanus, which is lava, calcite, sulfuric acid, coal, not petroleum gas, so I'll have to work on that, tungsten ore, more tungsten ore, more coal, more sulfuric acid. So yeah, the only thing that I'm artificially pumping in right now is petroleum gas. So let's make petroleum gas, and we have to make 320 per second. And the challenge with petroleum gas is oil isn't native to Vulcanus. So we have to get petroleum gas through other means. Let's explore that. All right, so there's the basic model. We've got efficiency modules, we've got coal and calcite coming in on the left, and we've got sulfuric acid coming in on the left, and on the right we have heavy oil coming out. And heavy oil will have to crack into light oil and then petroleum gas. But first, we have to say, what do we need? We needed 320 per second petroleum gas. So let's get that going. Oh man, it's going to take 32 chemical plants in order to get that kind of petroleum gas. Wow, it's tempting to use speed modules, right? Well, you know what? Here's another thing. Here's something else I can do. I've been very lenient on the power so far because we're going to try to avoid nuclear on Vulcanus because, you know, let's just face it, nuclear would be a pain if you require water. And I mean, we could do it, but there's no infinite supply of water. So there is an infinite supply of solar, though. So I think we'll stick with that. So I've been trying to be conservative with my power use, but we have some options that could be of use, one of which is beacons. And we could put some speed modules in here, and we could even put like, do different modules cause different drains? I don't think so. So the beacon, we're going to want really fast speed modules eventually, but we're just not there yet. So what I've got is the option of interlacing the beacons with the chemical plants. And a chemical plant surrounded by two beacons produces 22.7 rather than just, okay, it's 10. So it's 10 by itself, and it's turned into 22.7 when it's surrounded by speed module beacons. That's more than twice as much. And we could also put, I mean, about power max consumption plus 165%. Plus 225%. Okay, so we're going to put the big, or the Mark II efficiencies in there. And that brings it down to plus 135%. So it's still a lot more power than the plant by itself, but we might need to do that. I don't know. I mean, it's only 42 kilowatts. See, this is the difference, right? This is the beacon problem. If you're trying to conserve power, you got, like, this is using 42 kilowatts, and this is using 493 kilowatts. You know what? I'm not going to use beacons. Forget it. I'll just make a bigger build. There, say you didn't even need one beacon. I got 320 petroleum gas per second in this build right here. There, so in this compact little build, we've got, hopefully, 320 petroleum gas per second. And the best way to find out if this works is to hook up the water and the light oil and see what happens. I think that's it. Here, let's output this. Well, they're all green. That's a good sign. The only thing I worry about is that it's just enough petroleum gas. It's not any excess. So I don't know if we need it for anything else. Oh, we need it for sulfur. Dang it. Well, honestly, the only thing we need sulfur for is explosives. And I think we might actually need a fair bit of explosives on Vulcanus, to be honest. But not a huge amount. So what I'm going to recommend, because we literally don't need to make... Well, I mean, technically we could make their blue science here. This is all wild, because Vulcanus is starting to look into an industrial hotspot, almost to the point of eclipsing Novus. And I'm not actually sure if I should, start doing science here instead of Novus, or at least producing certain sciences here. Maybe. Well, the good news is this build is highly compact and, very effective. And it's just a matter of getting the oil, which honestly, that's going to be expensive because it's going to come from coal, and we're already using a lot of coal. I don't understand why the molten copper is loading so slowly in the low density structure foundries. I have to figure that out, because I shouldn't be that much of a deficit on molten copper. Oh, you know what? I'm not getting rid of stone fast enough. Oh, I'm producing 90 stone per second. That's different. On the iron side, I'm producing 60 stone per second for the whole column of iron. But on the copper side, it actually the recipe actually produces more waste stone. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that at all. So I'm going to have to compensate for that. Oh, that's good to know. Wow. That would explain what's going on. Question is, how do I fix it? Actually, wait. I have an idea. Of course, am I actually using that much stone? I am. Okay, so what I've done is I've changed this so that I'm only outputting on one of the lanes of this belt and leaving this lane open, so that when it gets down here, I can bleed off some of this stone from the copper line and then saturate this belt going out that way, so I don't have to do any complex weaving. I just simply took the bottom 5 foundries of copper or of molten copper, and I'm directing their waste stone south. So that leaves the remaining foundries, which are 11, to be handled, to handle the rest of it. So I'll do that now. It's still above 60 though. It's slightly above 60, which bothers me. If we're running it at full capacity, it's going to oversaturate the stone output. I might be able to bleed off some on the north side. Actually, yeah, let's do that here. Whoa! All right. Well, we are now taking the top 5 foundries and pushing their waste stone north on this lane. It's not as clean as it was, but it's much faster. And this leaves all of the molten copper foundries to be green, except for these for some reason. What's going on? So the stone isn't really being fully used, so let's do something about that. There we go. Now we're bleeding off stone to the south. Priority splitter means that we'll use as much as we can to make these bricks, but anything that we can't use, we're going to waste that. Well, that does it with copper. Molten copper is now running at peak efficiency, and we should be seeing low density structures being made a whole lot faster now. In fact, we can look here for the last 10 minutes or an hour. You can see that it's pretty much been capped, and now it's rising up. All right, next up we have to measure the light oil being used, and that is 480, and we have to make sure that we supply 480 light oil. Oh man, it's going to take 32. It's basically the same problem as making the petroleum gas, so I'm just going to copy this build and change the recipe and see what happens. Right. Oh wow, it needs 640 heavy oil in. This is getting kind of crazy. Oh my gosh. It's going to require 64 oil refineries. 64. That's insane. And only 8, actually 7.5 is all I can supply with this line. Oh no. Well, that kind of screws up my plans, doesn't it? I didn't know I'd need so many refineries, to be honest, these oil refineries. And I really don't actually know how much oil or how much plastic I'm going to need. This whole thing is just to make the plastic, right? Which is fine, but how much coal are we going to have to use? Let's find out. So that's 128 coal per second just to make the plastic. I might have to focus on a smaller build to start with, just to get like I don't need, I mean, let's face it, I don't need 57.6 plastic per second, right? I need, what I actually need is 8 plastic per second. So we're going to scale this down. And there's also, to be fair, there's also technologies like there's plastic bar productivity and other things that we can eventually get to help produce more. And there's also going to be something called a cryogenic plant. And I'm not sure if you can use these on Vulcanus, but you can make plastic in it, and it's got 8 module slots. Yeah. All right, so let's try something a little more sane for now. I'm just going to try to scale this back and see if I can make it at least able to supply the plastic that I need for the main build. And we'll forget about excess plastic for now. Right, well, there you go. We have 9.36 and we needed 8. So let's see if I can do something with this. Okay, we're ready with the small plastic build, and the goal, remember, is to get enough plastic for the low density structures, which we only need 8 per second, and this build produces 9.36 per second, so it consumes a fair bit of coal, honestly. It's 26.6 coal per second, 4.8 calcite per second, and we're using intermediates. We've got heavy oil, it makes 120, uses 120, makes 90 light oil, uses 90 light oil, and then it makes 60 petroleum gas and uses 52 of it. And yeah, that's what we've got. And it's not terribly big, so I'm kind of happy with this. It uses raw materials from Vulcanus. And although, you know, I forgot water's not native to Vulcanus, so let's get that water in there quick. How much water do we need? Oh, wow, it's 180. So, here, let's just make sure. Yeah, we're using 180, and over here, we're producing 180. So this will work. Okay, here we go. So what I've got is I've put these 3 chemical plants into the build. I'm tapping off of the sulfuric acid to supply this one, and I'm tapping off of the calcite belt to supply the same thing to make steam. And the steam's going over here and getting condensed into water, and the water is getting put directly into the whole water network. So yeah, that works. It works really, really well. I'm happy with it. Let's move this a little ways out of the way. And I should be able to make a blueprint of all of this. So let's make sure we're not importing anything that doesn't belong. We're just going to call this small plastic because it is a smaller build for plastic, but it should work. It should work. Great, so I've got my blueprints all set up. I've got the main molten metal block here, and I've got the small plastic line here that makes the plastic for that. The tungsten carbide makes tungsten carbide for that, and the carbon makes carbon for that. I've got the big light oil, petroleum gas, and plastic lines down here in case I ever get ambitious and want to make those, but not anytime soon. So this will be the blueprint book for Vulcanus, and I'm going to import that over and we'll try it in the game. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the game.